Welcome to It All Boils Down to This, the podcast where father and son take the kitchen table arguments and heated discussions from their home directly to yours. Jim and Jack Boyle will explore the world as only they can. We might even let a few guests join the fun. So sit back, choose a side, watch the water temperature rise, and enjoy stimulating generational conversation about sports and life. Welcome to It All Boils Down to This, episode 31. I'm back in Massachusetts, where, as you can see, we're not in the studio, but we will bring you episode 31. We have a lot going on, especially in the college basketball world. We got both the men's and women's brackets are out. Jack, we talked a lot about the men's game and the women's game, and the women seem to be more popular with Caitlin Clark, but we're going to go through that. I want to just briefly quick talk on the Celtics in the last two games that they played with half their rosters not playing. Do a little bit of deep dive into, we've got fantasy baseball coming up this week. We'll do a little short segment on that. And then maybe we can bitch about the Red Sox a little bit, as well as baseball started today. The game was out there in South Korea. San Diego played Los Angeles, and there was a weird play in that game that helped determine the outcome. But let's start with my favorite subject, college basketball today. And it was a great week to be a Temple Owl. We actually got to see them play in the championship game. They finally ran out of gas. They won 4 straight games in the American Athletic Conference tournament. Anything you saw that with the gambling and all the stuff out there, what did you see and what's your take on what happened there?
So I just got to say, our podcast has to start with Temple, because there's a million podcasts in the world. There's maybe 3 that will discuss Temple. So we got to be unique. What they did was phenomenal, honestly. And they're coming off, a lot of people were even knew about them before this tournament. You would never talk about Temple basketball. Even when they were decent, nobody was talking about Temple basketball. Before this tournament started, people were talking about Temple basketball because of the whole gambling thing, which we had talked about in this podcast. It was unbelievable to see. I remember I went to bed because they played a late game against SMU was the first real they're going to lose this game because they won that play-in thing or whatever. And then I think they won.
Right. They beat Texas City in tournament, correct?
Yeah, crap. So, and then they come back, they were down 5 when I went to bed at halftime. I was like, oh, this season's over, whatever. It was a useless season. They win by 15. Who they play next?
After SMU, they beat Charlotte.
That was the game where they played great. I mean, they were it looked like they were 10 times better. That was the game where you start thinking they've been point shaving. These kids have been point shaving because some of the players, the Steve Settle kid and the Hoffman kid, who we call Carmelone, were playing NBA players. So that's when you start thinking point shaving. And then they beat FAU, who shouldn't be in the tournament for that loss. Temple almost choked the game away.
Give the Owls a break.
Free throws. But they should not. The Owls, I'm giving the other Owls, they're a hard time because they're an 8 seed. I cannot wait to fill out my bracket tonight. 9 seed, whoever they're playing, gone.
They're playing.
And then Temple ran out of gas. They weren't going to win another game. They lost in the final. But again, it was the best Temple weekend and best Temple week in 5 years.
A long time. And you know what? It helps
his senior year.
Yeah, it helps a lot. And even before then. I mean, that was the game they lost to. They lost in the opening round to it starts with a B in Tennessee. Belmont beat them in the first round in the play-in game. It's been a long time. It really has. And I have to say, we talked about the last podcast. I did the fist pump on the airplane. You put me on the no-fly list.
You got away with it.
But I got to be quiet at the Highlands with Mama and Papa because a lot of old people. And my father comes out at 11 o'clock, 11:30, and says, you got to tone it down a little bit during one of the late games. They played 3 late night games in a row.
Wait, that's funny. You're what? How old are you?
I'm 62.
And your father still has to tell you to quiet down watching a sports game. That's sports. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That'd be And you probably be alive when I'm 60. I won't be. How old will you be when I'm 62?
I won't probably be on this earth, my friend.
But you got away with the no-fly list comment because they went on a run.
Right, but the other thing was he comes out and he's calmed me down and he watched the game. And then he made sure that the next time, which was the FAU game, so it was the Charlotte game.
You couldn't miss the FAU game.
No, you couldn't.
Once they're because it didn't get serious until they got to the semis. Once they beat Charlotte, that's when it got serious. So obviously,
that's true. I'm going to tell you, you're scratching again with your mic on the zipper there. The zipper scratches. That's all.
I got to stop wearing these when we do the podcast.
Yeah, because they zipper scratch. No, but it was great. And you're right. It's been a long time. I give the kids a lot of credit. There's been a lot of crap. Somebody said It's not going to be the Cinderella underdog. It's going to be the bad Cinderella underdog and all that bull crap that you have to listen to. And nothing's ever come out about what happened. And we've talked about the gambling. So let's talk about the other thing. This is why you're a fan. I said this the last podcast. People wonder, why do you get so emotional? Why do you get so caught into it? It's because of moments like that, it makes it worthwhile. Anytime you're a sports fan, I think that's what makes it worthwhile. You agree with me?
It's a perfect segue into the Man United Liverpool game this weekend, where it's like, why do you watch this crap? Why do you watch them score 0 goals all these games? Why do you watch this? Blah blah blah. That game, people like neutral fans. That's one of the best games of the decade. That was one of the best FA Cup games that's ever happened. And we beat Liverpool. Nobody thought we'd win. It was at home. The fans were going crazy. That is exactly why sports are great.
And that's why the segment of the population that doesn't gamble watches the games. So think about it. Let's go this way. If you were gambling on the games, if you had gambled that FAU was going to beat Temple by 12.5, whatever it was, you'd have been if you're an FAU fan or even a Temple, you're a wreck. You're not enjoying the game. If you had gambled that Man U would lose that game, you gambled on the under on the points.
I would never bet against them. I would never bet against the team I'm rooting for to win the game. Like, you can't do that, because then you don't root for
I wouldn't either. I never
either way though, gambling. I think you're taking it the wrong way, where like gambling takes away from it. No. If you're a true sports fan, like I am with the Man United, you're with Temple, you don't need to gamble to have the passion.
Right.
Now, when I was watching, I wanted Xavier to lose because it's just funny.
Yeah,
it's funny. It's just good to see Kevin lose, but because he loses all the time. He's winning with Arsenal, but he's always lost in sports. It feels like, even though he's won. Yeah. When I'm watching Georgia Xavier, like, I can't really get into the game, but if I have like $100 on it, I'd be into it. So that's like what gambling kind of gives to that. Like, it makes somebody interested in Temple versus UAB.
Correct.
You bet on it. If you didn't bet on it, why would you care about Temple UAB? So I think it adds. You're so worried about gambling. It's like, it's not your money. It's who cares what people do.
No, I'm not worried about gambling.
I know, but you always are like concerned about it.
I have enough heart palpitations watching Temple no matter what.
Yeah.
Or the Red Sox. I would never do it. I'm just saying that everything, the Man United game with a goal at the last second.
I wish I bet on it.
I
wish I bet on it. They were huge.
But I'm telling you, it's why we are passionate about what we're passionate about, right? I heard you yelling at the TV you blew the whistle. Why is the clock running? The clock stopped, and it's frustrating, right?
The clock, it must have been an ESPN glitch. Hey, it must have been an ESPN glitch. You know how the clock never stopped in soccer? Yeah. On the television, the clock was stopped for like 30 seconds. So I was freaking out, of course, because I wanted the game to end.
Right.
The thing was, like, the United game, and we've been on the same page about like extra time makes me in on extra time, just the way it is.
Yeah.
Because you don't, once in a while, you'll get a game like that, an extra time game like that, where there were 3 goals scored. You walked in the room, Liverpool scored an extra time to take the lead.
Yeah.
On that stupid deflected little goal they scored. And then we scored 2 more goals to win the game in extra time. That's like the greatest ad for extra time of all time, was that game.
Right. Right. Well, hey, it's fun.
It almost went to penalties. I was waiting for penalties. That'd have been.
So we can transition 2 ways. We've got Liverpool getting beat and pissing them on, and fans probably complaining. I'm sure the FAU fans and the Charlotte fans and the UAB and the SMU fans were all upset that, oh my God, Temple, the cheating Temple, they gambled, blah, 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 and they get pissy. And you know how Liverpool fans are. We talked about that as well. Everyone moves on. Temple didn't move on, but they solidified the season. Adam Fisher did a great job in getting the kids ready to go. Heiser Miller played phenomenal basketball for them all through the whole tournament. They got great, like you said, from Settle and Karl Malone, Hoffman, and then Riley and everyone else contributed away. Jamil White. The problem with Temple, the difference is they're going to run into the portals open already. We got the tournament. We'll talk about the tournament in a second. They've already opened up the portal. We haven't even gotten the champion, and the portal's already open. So that's where my, I love watching Temple, but we're sort of in an uphill battle no matter what we do, because if these 3 guys play great in the tournament, somebody's going to come in off of the NIL money and they're going to go. And then same thing with almost any team, like St. Peter's. Before we started, they didn't match up St. Peter's with Purdue, did they? That would have been just present. But with the same thing probably with Man United is that's the FA Cup, and the Liverpool guys are, well, we're going to play in the Champions League, and then the Man City guys are like, we're the Champions League champions. So
The Liverpool's not playing the Champions League; they're in the Europa League this year. So yeah, that's a bigger tournament than the FA Cup. No, it's not. It's equal. You know what? You probably would rather win the Europa League, but the last year, Klopp's last year, you want to win the FA Cup. They can do whatever they want. They know that game hurt.
right, and they do. So that's the FA Cup. And it's the big game for you this weekend. And we all said it was like Chris Greco came over. Grex came over on Sunday. It's like old times because we were watching Temple. It's been that long. You guys were so young when we started to enjoy those Obi Anchinova and Shiz Austin type of things. But it's good that they won. It's a nice little run. They never made that far in the tournament. So it's a feel-good story. Hopefully the gambling thing will wash out for them and things will be better. And if it doesn't, then we're at the stain of the gambling. But we do have the NCAA tournament upon us.
Wait, just to talk about Obi, one more thing about like the transfer portal. It's in a different sport, but this all connects. Obi, it was like one of the last times they were good. They made the tournament. They played Iowa, right? He got pushed in the back. Dude got a putback, won the game at the buzzer. It would have been, we were in the bonus. It would have been 2 free throws, double bonus. Right. Obi would have taken him. Game over. Temple would have won. Iowa, did you see the kid on Alabama? The kid transferred, the freshman from Alabama.
Yes, I saw that.
The offensive tackle transferred to Iowa and then transferred back to Alabama in the same offseason. How's that even allowed?
And the funny part about that is he took NIL money from Iowa. He was in an automobile commercial for Iowa. And
I didn't know that. That's even worse.
I just read that today. He was saying to me that they were saying that what was the point? He's from Iowa. So he's going back to Iowa. So
I remember Herb Street was like recruiting him to Iowa. He got in trouble for that a little bit.
Right. And then again, Iowa's biggest claim to fame is Caitlin Clark. So it's going to start the women's tournament. Let's go to the men's tournament real quick. And we could go game to game, but let's just look at
I don't know anything. Honestly, I really haven't even looked at the bracket. Who are the 1 seeds?
Okay, the 1 seeds are in the East, UConn. Right? Yep. In the West, North Carolina. In the South, Houston. And in the Midwest or Central, whatever they call it, is Purdue. Purdue's the 1. So Purdue in their bracket have Tennessee at 2, Kansas at 4, and Creighton at 3.
Who? Oh my God, that's Purdue's?
Yes.
Kansas, the kid, one of their big players is hurt. They stink. Yep. Tennessee, it's Rick Barnes, right?
Yeah. No, not anymore. I don't know. Yeah, it is.
Rick Barnes is the coach. I'm not afraid of Rick Barnes. And then Creighton, get out of here with Creighton. I can never respect Creighton. So yeah, I'm going Purdue. Purdue final. 100%. How about you?
I really
they said Zach Edey had a growth spurt.
Yeah, I like Tennessee because one of our loyal listeners, Brian Kane, emailed us the other day, and he does say the kid from Tennessee, Dalton Connect, is the best player I saw this year.
I saw him.
Really like his game, and then he says agrees with Arizona, but I'm going to go right. I haven't done the bracket, but I like Tennessee. As SEC was pretty tough this year. Kansas is nothing.
All right, so you're picking Tennessee, right?
Tennessee, you're going to go Purdue. What's the 5-12 is McNeese State and Gonzaga. Gonzaga is actually not as bad as you would think. So there would be one upset there. The other upset happened in the what's the 10th? Texas and UVA, but UVA lost.
UVA is horrible. They're mad. They're mad. Stephen A. I saw said that Bennett should get fired. Have you seen?
I'm really not happy with him. You're right.
He shouldn't get fired, obviously, because he won a title within the last decade. You can't fire a coach like until. What's like this? How long did UConn wait to fire Kevin Ollie before they fired him? What's like the statute of limitations before you can fire a coach that won a title? I think it's got to be at least a decade, right?
Between Bennett and Ollie is Bennett doesn't cheat. Ollie was
Bennett. Ollie, that wasn't his team. He was the first. Like his first wasn't his team. Yeah, and Bennett though, if you look at their tournament results, I don't think they made it past the round of 64 since the title.
No, you're right.
It's just crazy. They've dropped, and they used to be a 1 seed. I felt like every year.
Right, they're not.
They lost to UMBC. They're the 1 seed.
What's happening? That I read somewhere that
pretty good NBA players too.
They want to relook at the way they're running their program because that was embarrassing.
Last night was embarrassing.
You give you the collar state, but they won't. In reality, they're both 10 seeds.
Yeah, but it's the way the game happened. They shouldn't have been in the tournament. Right. But again, they shouldn't have those extra 4 games. Those are useless anyways.
True.
Temple played one of those 1 year. It's useless.
Yeah, we lost a belt.
Put them in the tournament.
Mention that.
Yeah, if you make the tournament, you make the tournament. No need for this 84.
Zach Purdue. You like Purdue. Zach Edey had the problem with Purdue. Here's my diatribe on Purdue. I would zone up. make them beat with 3. And if they beat with 3, they do. Don't let each.
Okay. Name 2 players on Purdue.
Zach Edey.
Yeah. Okay. So
else.
yeah, no, but I know you don't know a thing. You don't know
anybody else. Anyway.
You don't know that they have guys who are shooting lights out from 3. You just said that because that's what happened last year.
That's the story. Was the going rate was they lost in the Big Ten tournament, but they get beat. Let me ask you a question.
Last team to go undefeated in 1976. Everyone gets beat.
Do you let Edey scores 35 points and do everybody else, or do you stop Edey and make everyone else beat you? What would you?
I can't look. Last year, obviously, they D'd up Edey and made everyone else beat them. I don't know the answer to that. I have never watched Purdue this year.
Okay,
it's just I'm picking them based off like vibes of last year, and everyone hates them. Everyone hates Zach Edey. No one likes watching them play. That's why I'm picking them. That's it. That's my analysis. Yours, you somehow thought you ever. What if they have a guy who's like Ray? I hope someone hits 10 threes. I hope they have a guy who was off from 3.
You know what they might? They're gonna
Ty Shine.
Oh yeah,
they have a Ty Shine.
No. Right. You don't want to rip me on Temples. You know how old you were in Ty Shine? You were a little baby. You were about this big. That was March of 00. So you were 6 months old. You're lucky to throw you through the wall.
Yeah.
Ty Shine crap. Holloway gets hurt. Holloway who ends up coaching the St. Peter's last year. He gets hurt.
That's that guy. That's the dude who got hurt.
Yeah.
That guy who's like the first guy to coach 2 different New Jersey teams to a NCAA tournament ever. That's crazy.
That's him.
Wow.
Don't bring up bad things like that. All right.
It was a good reference.
It was a great reference, by the way, but it's wrong.
Okay, next bracket. Let's get to the next. We talked about this bracket for way too long.
We got Houston.
That's my champion, Purdue.
Oh, you like Purdue and I like Arizona. Yeah. Houston's 1, Marquette's 2, Kentucky is 3, and Duke is 4.
Yeah, I have Kentucky.
So do I. You can't like what I hate Duke.
I don't know. I have to.
Marquette's a nice team. They get some really good players. The kid from Wilson High School, Reading, Pennsylvania, Mitchell plays for them. I forget their big scorer. They could be tough. I'm going to go with Kentucky as well. So we like Houston will end up gagging somewhere.
A guy like I think it's Dillingham on Kentucky. He can go for 30 and hit like 8 threes, like we were just talking about. He's
the freshman Reed Shepherd.
He's probably going to be the first college kid picked in the draft. He has a chance.
And the freshman Reed Shepherd is the second coming of Rex Chapman. If everybody knows who Rex Chapman once was, he's got a book out now.
That's one of like the strangest comparisons ever. I've never heard anyone be called the next Rex Chapman.
You don't know how good.
What's he going to start a Twitter account and just like posts like the most like clickbaity stuff?
You have no idea how good Rex Chapman was. He was a great leaper.
He's like Peyton Pritchard.
Better.
No.
More athletic than Peyton Pritchard. Much more athletic.
Then I don't know enough about.
No, you don't.
All right. Okay. So you pick Kentucky. Who cares about that bracket? Who was the 1 seed?
1 seed was Houston.
I'm surprised you didn't pick them.
The 5-12 is Wisconsin, James Madison, and the 10 is we'll have a winner tonight. Colorado and Boise State, and versus Florida. I'm looking at this bracket, and who's 5?
You're right. You're right. Rex Chapman. Nah, he didn't shoot the ball. He shot 43%, but he just scored more points than Pritchard. I don't know if I'm going to say you're right.
He was better than Pritchard.
Okay.
He got hurt.
He may be right. Let me see what Pritchard's shooting from the field. Okay, no, same thing. Pritchard's shooting 43% too because he just takes threes, which is fine. You're right. Rex Chapman's better. Fine. Next.
Our next bracket is the East, which is our good friend Mr. Hurley, who likes to fight people in Providence. And everywhere else, they're the number 1.
So the one thing about them is everyone's on them, so I'm off them.
I'm off them too.
That's how I'm picking. You can't. So we both have no knowledge, and we're just basically like reasoning the same. Everyone is picking UConn.
Okay, so let's go through.
They're like 4-1 to win.
So you got UConn as number 1. You got Iowa State at number 2. You got Illinois at number 3, Big Ten champ, and you got our good friends from Charles Barkley and Auburn at 4. A lot of kids in school like Auburn. I don't know why.
Give me some 5s, 6s, and 7s.
Okay, the 5 is San Diego State playing UAB. Our good friends from UAB. The 6 is BYU playing Duquesne. The 7th, Washington State playing.
Forget it.
I'm telling you right now, FAU is going to beat Northwestern and upset Connecticut.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not even going to entertain that. I can't. So I know I said I wasn't picking UConn, but I just heard the 2 through 7. I hate them all. So I'm going.
I'll go with Auburn there.
Okay.
So you got UConn, I got Auburn, right?
Yeah.
We both have Kentucky. Wow, that's kind of funny.
Speaking of Charles Barkley, we could bring up after we haven't talked about the infamous Joe Mazzulla shot contest against the Suns.
Oh, we'll talk about that later.
No, I just want to real quick drop kick the Suns. Charles Barkley, I love Charles, but whine about all the new players being babies and soft and all this, and he goes like he starts talking about how Mazzulla should have gotten knocked out for that because you really could have seriously hurt him. What do you tell Charles? Come on.
I might have to back off of Auburn because I got 3 SEC teams right now in my Final Four.
It's like the Big East, the year that Villanova won.
Yeah, Mullen and Pickney and Patrick Ewing. Yeah,
so St. John's, Villanova, and Georgetown. Yeah.
Speaking of St. John's and Mullen, Luke Armstead is still alive. He coached in that.
I know that. I think he's 99. Yeah.
He'll be 100. Jesus, that's old. I saw a 100-year-old lady at the when we had dinner with Pop.
Yeah, there's many at that place. Don't worry. All right, keep going.
Wait, now the best conference of them all.
Wait, so yeah, that was you. Okay, next.
I'm going to switch. I'm going to take Iowa State instead of Connecticut because I can't take all those SEC. I'm going to change.
So I have Kentucky, UConn, and Purdue.
Right now, I have.
Like that mix. I like that mix.
You like that mix? Yeah, I'll go with Tennessee, Iowa State, and Kentucky. Ugh. I feel like already I'm going to throw up in my mouth. In the West, North Carolina got the #1 seed. My friends from Arizona got the 2. Baylor was 3. Alabama was 4. I like that to be North Carolina, Arizona in the final 8, and Arizona to win. That's what I like. Because I can name a lot of Arizona.
I don't know. Who were the other? It was UNC.
Arizona, Baylor, 3.
Yep. No, forget them.
Carolina 1. Alabama 4. 5 was I got to find 5.
I'll go
Aries.
I'll go Carolina. We didn't have enough blue bloods last year.
Right, and I go Arizona, which is almost a blue blood now.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So I got the blue blood. I got Kentucky in the blue blood. So then we would have Arizona, UConn for you, Arizona, Iowa State for me, or North Carolina, UConn. Who do you want in the final game there?
North Carolina. I guess I'm a Tar Heel. I'll go North Carolina.
Okay, now I'm going to go Zona, and then I got Kentucky, and you got Purdue or Kentucky, Tennessee. I got Kentucky.
Yeah. I'd love to see a Kentucky UNC final. I love that. That's like Man United playing Liverpool. It's like the Red Sox playing the Yankees. It's these two just powerhouses of the finals. And last year is UConn and FAU, who lost to Temple. But I have to go with Purdue because that's who I'm picking.
I would say you got Purdue versus Carolina in the final, and who do you got to win it?
Purdue.
And I got Arizona.
So I'm in this like big bracket with a bunch of people. I guarantee you there's like less than 5 that pick Purdue. It'll probably be like 40, 50 kids.
And a lot of it's because of what we were talking about earlier. We have in our mind what happened last year, which I do. And you're right, biases are biases. And I would go with that. Do you want me to get the women's bracket if I can find it?
No, not really. But all I know is Shannon Sharp's really delivering the heavy hitting journalism with picking the 2 tournaments, picking 8 1 seeds. All I know, the game that matters is we have to get LSU versus Iowa. And that'll be an Elite 8 game, which is stupid. They should have been in different brackets. But LSU might not have made it. So maybe it's smart because we probably are going to get LSU versus Iowa. I'm picking Iowa. Why not? I'm just Iowa all the way. I don't care. It's one of those things. Don't bet against a team you're rooting against or you're rooting for. So I'm picking Iowa.
I'm going to go with somebody because I always do South Carolina with Don Staley because the Temple connection. We got to have some Philly connection going in there. And they're good. They get lucky to beat Tennessee on the last second shot, which I watched about 6 times. But again, they're the most complete team. They got upset last year by
the real question is South Carolina or the field is basically
probably right. Probably right. But there's
50-50. South Carolina, it's 50-50, I'd say, South Carolina in the field.
Probably. Here I got the bracket.
Let me get their odds. See if they're plus or minus.
I don't have the odds. You get the odds. Here we got South Carolina is a 1, Iowa's a 1, USC is a 1, and Texas is a 1. So those are your ones. USC's got I forget her name. She got Apollo something, a weird name. Freshman. She's the next Caitlin Clark.
Who? The one in South Carolina, USC?
Yeah, the other USC.
Yeah, Southern California.
Yeah. Again, what I talked to Pop about this too is the thing is the girls game is just more exciting because it's more fun to watch. It's not the coaches dominating it. It's not the bullshit NIL, although there's some, but it's pure basketball. Somebody asked me about Caitlin Clark, and she's got a nice shot. She's got a lot going for her. She's a pretty good ball player. And
I always talk about her ball handling. That's what I always talk about.
Let's see. That's why we talked about Pete Maravich last week. She's definitely Pete Maravich of the girls' game. Just
talk about Rex Chapman, Peyton Pritchard.
Pete Maravich is better, and so is Caitlin Clark.
Like I said to you, I do think you said Pete Maravich better. Yeah, he is. If Peyton, but we'll go further back. I think Peyton Pritchard would school. Like I love this guy, but I think Peyton Pritchard played in the 50s. He'd be better than Bob Cousy.
Yeah, again, we can't. Yes, because he's also probably 4 inches taller than Bob Cousy.
Shout out JJ Redick.
And he's strong, but Bob Cousy was also plumbing at the time, so it was tough. He had 2 jobs.
Okay.
It's hard to judge. I love that someday we get a bunch of people have this. It's a great discussion, Jack. By the way,
no, it's not. It's a terrible discussion.
Those guys didn't train. The game is.
I hate that discussion.
But I know you do. But the game changed. Of course, Peyton Pritchard is going to be better. He's bigger. He's stronger. He's athletic. It's all he did was play basketball his whole life. All the time. That's all he did.
All right. Then that's fine. Then you're admitting
the better body of play.
I'm okay with that answer. But then, okay, that's fine.
But if you moved Cousy into when Pritchard was in Oregon and Cousy was in Oregon, Cousy would have been the player he would have been one of the elite players because he would have trained differently. That's all. Basketball's a hard one to judge.
Your original point was still that he was 3 inches smaller than him. That wouldn't change.
No, but you're right. But basketball's a hard one to do like that. I don't know.
South Carolina is odds on to win. They're minus 130 to win the title. So it's more than 50%.
Oh, that's good.
That's how women's basketball is. You get a dominant team like that, they're probably not going to lose.
I just want to reiterate, we're going to go back to my good friend Brian Kane. Here's what he wrote. Brian, I hope you don't mind us reading this because I think this is great. And we definitely got to get Kane and Brian on the show, except he's a Yankee fan. He goes, looking forward to the NCAA tournament, my favorite 3 weeks of the sports for the year. I don't want Purdue to win. Zach,
yeah!
Wait. Zach, this is the best. I love Brian. He is the best. Zach Edey is a stiff. I just can't watch him. Very overrated. This is the greatest. Runs like Herman Munster. And for all you old people know who Herman Munster is. Plus, Matt Painter will find a way to blow it. Then he talked about the kid from Tennessee. And then he said he agrees with me on Arizona. If they put it all together, they could be dangerous. Their center Bayou is a dangerous monster. He also likes Auburn. I saw them a bunch, and they're well-balanced. UConn and Houston will be tough to beat. So he's got to go, and he hates Zach Edey. So I just love the Herman Munster. For those people who know who Herman Munster was, there was a show back in the 60s called The Munsters, and it was Herman Munster was like Frankenstein, and there's a weird family, and they try to integrate into the society, but Herman was kind of strange. So if you get a chance on like some TV, Netflix, YouTube, look it up, Munsters. You'll enjoy it. Eddie Munster had a haircut almost like Jack with the widow's peak, like Jack's got going there. So that was Eddie Munster for all you people older like me. I had what? That's what you
we're really nailing the young demo here.
Oh, we really are.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to the young demo. I'll let you.
No, forget it. All right, we're done. We're not. Was that the rest of the email?
Then he talked. Okay, so he talks about. Then he said the line of yesterday was Jack saying you should be on the no-fly list. Really cracked him up. Then my favorite one, which we are going to definitely get him on the show for this one. He goes,
"Oh yeah, this is
great. The 2018 Red Sox were not the team everyone thinks they were." Spoken, Brian, like a true Yankee fan. They only won 100.
No, you know who that sounds like? That sounds like, you know who you would think would be writing that in the Globe? It would be John Henry. John Henry probably, that's what John Henry thought because he got rid of the whole team.
Okay, so he doesn't think everything. Then he says, look at the roster. Nah. He goes, the 78 team would kill that team. 78 team and no pitching. I mean, Mike Torres, Louis Tiant wasn't over the hill. It's been good. I like that. Well, I looked it up. The 18 team had higher WAR by like 6. Brian, just so you know.
The WAR. Watch the game. If you watch those games, now respect to him. You know what game he did watch? Like this was like the best game of the whole season. Was that Yankee game when they were in the midst of that 4-game sweep in August? When the last game they came back and they totally that was the whole do damage thing. It's because right before the series, Aaron Boone said, "Well, they seem to beat everybody, but we always seem to do damage against them." And we swept them. But he probably remembers watching the greatest game. There was the World Series MVP that year. hitting 3 home runs against the Yankees, like in a random game in August when the Yankees were like a 100-win team.
Right.
And that's just the talent they had. He was their second first baseman, and he hit 3 home runs against the Yankees on a 100-win Yankee team.
Yeah, so that's and he also probably he's old enough to remember maybe 78 when the Yankees swept 4. They called it the Boston Massacre, and Don Zimmer completely gagged on his gagging. So that team was lucky. I loved that 78 team. I loved. I was 16 years old, but that 78 team had a big lead. Got a little bit of pitching injuries. Zimmer gagged a lot. Yankees came on, played really well. But they were down. They won the last 8 games to force that playoff game, and then Yaz popped up against the Goose Gotcha 200-mile fastball, and the game was over. No way. I'm telling you, 2018 better than 100%. Plus, 2018 won. They didn't lose the damn Yankees like the 78 team did. And I was a Yaz fan my life growing up. So, and those are the years that were very disappointing to be a Red Sox fan. So, in 2018, how old were you? You were 19, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, different. But that's Brian, and he does talk about that. Fantasy, he's got 3 teams. He's in 3 20-league teams. Is this guy nuts?
Yeah, it doesn't even. That's
I'm having trouble just doing my small teams and keeping up with it. But Brian's in 3 leagues, and like I said, definitely if we can get him, we'll get him on, because once we both get back in the studio, we can zoom him in.
Sure, being in 3 leagues, you're not like 3 totally different teams. You can be rooting for everyone.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And then again, it is 20 teams, so it's not that many players.
Yeah, our fantasy draft comes up. What?
He'd have Steve Pierce on his team.
Who?
He'd have Steve Pierce on his team.
Yeah, he would.
20-team league. You have to have players like that.
Well, you have to have all the crappy players. You know, you would have who? Let's see.
Pierce.
Josh Winkowski from the Red Sox.
Right. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't have him. You'd have like.
Who knows?
Yeah, no, you'd have Alex Verdugo.
He's got Alex Verdugo to live with now, though.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. We're done with baseball. I don't want to even talk about the game today. That was a useless thing that the MLB did. We're starting to see it.
No,
they're starting it like a week earlier. I know. We'll talk about baseball when baseball happens. We're not.
But I'm telling you right now, baseball happened today, and they did it in Korea. So let's look at what they've done. They've expanded. They're doing things the right way. They take the Dodgers and Shohei and take them to Korea, right? So they play the first time in Korea. And then they played in Mexico City. They played the Red Sox did the exhibition in Dominican. They're going to go over and play like in Germany or France or wherever they're going to play. If I had the money, it would be fun to travel to. What are you doing?
Did they play in Havana yet?
Oh my God, not yet.
All right. I'm done with baseball. We can't. I get it. Yeah, they're doing the right thing. I still hate it. We can't talk about baseball.
I know you're done with baseball. Let's go to
We'll have Kevin call in with like a fantasy call because he'll have his team.
Oh, that's true.
Let him do a call.
That was great. Yeah. Greg got to go home and study his keepers.
Yeah.
Kevin, if you're listening, I hope you picked the right keepers, because if you picked the guy you were going to pick, I'm going to laugh at you all season long.
He's spoiling stuff, you idiot. Oh.
He won't know.
Okay, whatever. Next, we're done with baseball, especially after that. We're done. No, we're done. Next.
All right, let's go on to the Celtics, who this
I don't even really want. You see this idiot. You know, it's Greek night at the Garden. You know who's not playing?
Porzingis.
No, Giannis.
Oh,
he ruined the game. It's unbelievable. Yeah, everyone was waiting.
Why is Giannis not playing?
I don't know. It's so the NBA. It's so frustrating.
Well, they know they're out of it, though, right? They're not going to catch the Celtics.
So the first time they played was, I think the Bucks might have been on short rest, but they might not have been. It might have been even, and the Celtics beat them pretty badly at the Garden. The next time the Celtics, it was like their 5th game in 7 days, but they still got spanked around. They were both fully healthy though, pretty much. And then this was supposed to be the game where it's like, let's see the 2 best teams in the Eastern Conference play each other fully healthy, and he's not playing.
You know what? Why are you hiding? What are you hiding from?
He's not hiding.
It's what happens in the NBA all the time, though. You're right. But again, let's take it a step back. The Celtics got to play the Washington, what are they, Wizards now? The Washington Wizards and the Detroit Pistons. Maybe 2 of the 3 worst teams in the history of the basketball league this year, right? First game, Brown, Porzingis, and White didn't play. And Hauser had 30 points in the first half and then got hurt.
Yeah.
And then the second game, Tatum. Who did play? Tatum, Horford, Hauser, and what's his name?
Well, Holiday.
Holiday didn't play. And they dominated these teams. The Celtics' top 8, without their best 3 or without the quality top 3 players, is still beating these crappy teams. I don't know. It's hard. They're good, no doubt about it. They're a really good basketball team. And you made the point, they would probably make the playoffs. If you took Brown or Tatum off the team, they'd probably be a top 4 team in the playoffs. If you take one of their superstars off. But that gets me to Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown, huh?
Yeah, decent chance, yeah.
Jaylen Brown, what the hell? People bitch about it. This guy is a great player.
Yeah.
So if he plays like this the rest of the way, which he probably won't, but he has stepped his game up, not forcing anything anymore. And they're winning with him playing great and Tatum having struggled. Tatum has struggles. I'm telling you right now, the only team I'd worry about is Denver. The only team I worry about, because you're right, you make the point that everybody to guard Jokic. But in the East, unless somebody gets red hot for 5 straight games,
I'd still, like I said, that's pretty true tonight. Is I still would say a little bit of Milwaukee. There's no one else besides Milwaukee, but I would have liked to see them play Milwaukee tonight, and they're not going to.
Right. But Milwaukee's
that's the one team where it's like Milwaukee. The way the standings have worked out, they won't be getting them to the conference finals, so they might not even get there. The Bucks, they obviously have a chance of losing one of those in the second round, but I still would say I'm not 100% confident they beat the Bucks. I'm 90%.
Okay.
But I'm not 100% like everyone else. What?
Anybody in the West other than Denver beat them?
No, not even close.
No.
Maybe the Clippers if Kawhi's red hot. I'd say I'm like 80% confident they beat the Clippers. I'm like 60% confident they beat Denver. So the Clippers, I'd say. But none of the Timberwolves and the Oklahoma, no way.
Well, Timberwolves lost what's his name's out, Anthony Towns, and they were always struggling to be offensive anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma City doesn't play much defense. Like I said, it's Jokic. That'd be a great final, by the way. Be a great final for, especially to the legacy of Tatum and Brown, right? Would be a great final. I had one.
Yeah, they can't lose that. They can't. They can't lose this year. They can't.
Yeah, I had one.
You cannot do anything like last year. Last year I would say they really shouldn't have lost either. But like they could lose first year head coach and their regular season. They had some like ups and downs and little bits. This year it's like you're not going to improve on the regular season you're having next year. So it's like there's nothing they can do anymore. They have to win.
Yeah, all right. And they, like I said, Brad,
it's a crazy place to be in, but it is.
I'm building up a team. 2 other points at least I've just come to mind.
It's almost like the 2018 Red Sox, to be honest.
Yeah, you're right.
It's true. Like they had lost, and it's like you can't win more than 108 games. If you don't do it this year, run these guys out of town.
That's very true. I talked to my good friend John Amico at the at school today, the coach of the basketball team. He asked me if I had seen the Dynasty, whatever they call that damn show. And I know that he hated it.
Well, we talked about this, yeah.
And it's just I have not watched it, so I don't know. I just know what I've read. And he just doesn't understand if Kraft thought it was going to make him look good. Why would he think that?
Yeah, I think because we talked so much about Kraft, he's delusional.
And then the other thing was the other point that he makes is that, he watches this to see that he said the 03-04 championship teams, they really glossed over real quickly. And he said, I had to listen to Tom Curran for 30 minutes, and he hates Tom Curran, who's a mouthpiece for the Crafts. And he had to listen to this, and he had to listen to that. They had 10 minutes with Michael Strahan talking about this, the Giants beating them. He said, I wanted to celebrate them winning, not all the controversies.
That's what it was. That's what someone said. It was like it made you feel like being a Patriots fan for 20 years was terrible. Yeah. It sucked. When in reality, it was like the greatest sports run of all time.
Right. He said that. That's exactly what he said.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Now, like Gronk has come out and defended Belichick, and what's his name? Edelman's defended, McCourty's defended him. Rodney Harrison. They're coming out and saying this is really a weird look at it. And so whatever Kraft was thinking he was trying to do, he didn't do. And you're right. Bill Belichick and Tom Brady were the reason they won. And another thing that he said, like I said, I haven't seen it, so I'm not going to watch it. Brady took less money for all those years so they could have. He was never the highest paid quarterback in the NFL up until the end, and that really helped. And Bob Kraft was coming across that he kept them from feuding and all that bullshit. So it was the dynasty, whatever they called it. I can't wait till we have the John Henry special, because that'll be interesting to see his thought process on. He was a hero here, and he's not anymore, because he's crapped the bed. So that was that. And we've seen tweets about that, but Mr. Miko told me that he didn't like it. I know Ingram didn't like it. The one Ryan, the custodian, he loved it for some other reason, and he had his.
Wait. I was literally, when you were going through that list of names, I was about to say, is there anyone who actually liked it?
Ryan liked it. The custodian Ryan, he liked it.
You'd have to be like the most hardcore, diehard Felger and Maz listener to enjoy that documentary. You have to be the biggest narcissist. They should have won 20 Super Bowls. Yeah. Everything sucked. Belichick's an a-hole. That's the only way you like that documentary. And again, Kraft read the room wrong. Kraft thought maybe he listened to Felger and Maz, every single call, Belichick this, Belichick sucked, get rid of Belichick, we need gone Belichick. I think maybe he read the room wrong and thought that a lot of people, or a lot higher percentage in this town, hated Belichick. When in reality, people don't hate Belichick. They understand he's Bill Belichick. He won you 6 Super Bowls. Right. Like, there's no Tom Brady without Bill Belichick. There just isn't. Now, obviously, that's not me saying there's not me saying obviously Brady's more important, but Brady doesn't exist if Belichick doesn't give him the chance.
Correct. Draft's coming up. What, about a month? We're gonna get J Trev's expertise.
Oh yeah. J Trev's got a mock draft coming out, so we need to know what's going on with the Patriots pick. I would obviously trade it for those Vikings. The Vikings made that trade to get a first round.
What are you gonna get at 11 though?
Straight up. Doesn't matter what you get at 11. You get at 11 and 17, you get talent. 11, you can get a left tackle. 17, I said 11, you take either a receiver or tackle if one of them is still there that you really like. 17, you take the best available because the Patriots need every single position. They do. You need every position. So you take the best.
You're going to run with Jacoby Brissett as our quarterback?
Who cares? They're more than a year away anyways. If they take a kid, whoever, if you like someone, they're not going to in the second round. But they're not the quarterback. They're not, if they get a quarterback, they're not going to win this year. They're so far away. And the point I saw him make is Andy Reid, when he went to Kansas City, I think they had the first pick in the draft that year. And everyone's like, oh, he's going to go get his quarterback. Andy Reid needs his quarterback. He's going to go get his quarterback. Andy Reid didn't go get the quarterback that year. He picked it was Eric Fisher, the tackle.
Tackle, right. Fisher.
I have the timeline wrong. And he went and got Alex Smith, who's better than Jacoby Brissett for sure. Right. Him with Alex Smith was competitive. They were like a playoff team. And he waited till he found the right quarterback, and then they made the trade up and got their quarterback. That's what they did. You don't have to go chase that quarterback if you don't love it.
Alex Smith had been a number 1 pick, and he wasn't bust almost. And he came to the right system, and he did what he needed to. Right. Drake. The problem is everybody's talking about Minnesota wants to trade. I was talking to the guys today, John and Ryan, and they were saying if you trade the 3 for like if who's the 5? I forget. If somebody's looking for a quarterback and you flip the picks. Whoever does that, Minnesota's going to trade to 4 to get the quarterback they want anyway. So it'll, like, Arizona's got the 4. Arizona could trade the pick for anything or pick a wide receiver if 3 quarterbacks go first. Do you really trust Jaden Daniels and Drake May? Or Jaden Daniels and Drake May?
That's the thing. That's my point.
Jaden's going to be like last year's draft picks or years ago, like not Trubisky, but the Wilson kid that went to the Jets, or Sam Darnold who went to the Jets. And then who was the Young who went first to Carolina. So it'll be interesting. We got to get J Trev to get us on board with that, and that'll be good. Two. I just want to bring up ask 2 golf things that I saw today.
Forgot about golf. That was actually a pretty big tournament.
A great tournament, and Scheffler is now clearly the number 1 player in the world.
Not even close. Yep, not even close.
You guys can pitch all they want.
No one's close to him.
I got the feeling Rahm really wishes he could still play on the PGA Tour and took his $300 million. But so he's a little.
I will say though, if we get a Rahm Scheffler final round in a major this year, it's going to be awesome.
Correct. If Rahm's up to the speed though, because he's playing shit. He's been like crap golfers.
Yeah.
And did you see that? I don't know if this was fake or not, but I saw Koepka quote or Koepka tweet about Tiger Woods.
It's probably fake. You fall for this all the time.
I know Tiger Woods. It's like if he comes, it's probably fake, but it's actually kind of funny. Tiger Woods is like letting your little brother play and thinking he has a chance to win.
The funniest thing about this is I probably know exactly the Twitter account you got that off of.
That was a great.
It was probably Tour Golf, but Tour is spelled T-U-O-R. You see that account all the time with fake.
That was a great.
That 100% is what happened.
That's a great fake tweet though. Think about it. It's a great trolling tweet. I like it. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah. No. He no tweet. That was not real.
Good. It was funny though. Isn't that a great?
I know. Yeah, it's funny, but like,
isn't that Koepka's line though? Isn't that what you would expect? Although Koepka and Tiger are pretty close, but isn't it? It's like joking. It's like poking Tiger a little bit because Tiger announced he was playing the Masters today. That's why that came out. Tiger announced to play the Masters. Like it was a good tournament. It was a great tournament, and your buddy Wyndham Clark lifted out. Well, we talk golf, we talk Premier League. People, we're losing our demographic huge. We go that way.
I'm just if you root for Wyndham Clark, like if you are a fan of Wyndham Clark, you're a loser. You are you know what I mean? If you root for Wyndham Clark, you are who is rooting for Wyndham Clark? Seriously, who? His family, his friends. You're a loser if you actively root for Wyndham Clark.
His Padres, all his friends.
Well, that's fine. That's fine.
That was a big tournament. Some of the top last past major winners there. You know, it was competitive. Schauffele,
obviously, it's the biggest non-major tournament there is.
So the next thing we have actually is the Masters, which is about 3-4 weeks away now, right?
I'm going Scheffler. Just he has that feel that I don't think you felt with a golfer in a while. Like maybe in my life, like in my time of, it's just I don't know.
I'm going to take a Scheffler, and you know this, and a good golf talk today is his putting. I never know what you're going to get with him.
But when he gets hot, he shoots 63.
His tee to green is phenomenal.
Yeah,
putting he wins. His tee to green is phenomenal. He can't miss those. He misses the 8-footers, which you have to make to win. There's
an argument you could make that he's the greatest tee to green player of all time.
Not true, because Tiger and Jack were great tee to green players.
I bet you if you look like at the super big numbers, they weren't as good as.
That's probably true. That'd be nice to look at. That'd be good to look at. He's no doubt about it, he's the best player in the world. Right
and the funniest thing is his driver swing is he has no balance at the end. I guess he does have balance at the end of the swing, but he kind of proves. I saw this online. It's like after you make contact with the ball, it really doesn't matter that much.
Right.
Because he's always sliding out of his swing and swinging out. But he's never like he's not really super bad. It's hard to explain. Like it's not like what you would think. Like Freddie Couples swing, but it's like I don't know. It's weird. So and he's the greatest ever. You know what? Forget tee to green. I'll say he's the greatest driver of a golf ball that's ever lived. Ever lived.
No, that's really true. And
Emma Rory.
Did you know where his coming out party was?
Scheffler, I get no clue. Somewhere in Boston.
No, I know. I thought that he was
Wait, you know what happens?
It was like a U.S. Open against, I think, with
Bryson DeChambeau. Yeah, Wingfoot. Yeah, I thought you meant like his coming out party, not like his like.
No, that was when
people knew who he was before then. I thought.
No, not really. He was a good young player. He's a phenomenal player though. Hey, breaking news on this. What is it today? On the 31st episode of It All Boils Down to This. Ohtani's interpreter fired. Massive theft alleged. The interpreter for Dodgers Shohei Ohtani was fired Wednesday after questioning surrounding at least $4.5 million in wire transfers sent from Ohtani's bank account to a bookmaking operation set off a series of events. So gambling, it comes back to haunt us.
Okay.
Cool. Always gambling.
Can I just say my point? That's hilarious and all, but like the whole thing here is that's such a bad move by him. If he just had been his translator for like 15 years, that's when Ohtani's got no money right now. All of his money comes in like 2070.
Kidding.
Yeah, you should have waited, bro. And then he could have $4 million. He would have gotten away with $100 million.
It's like the guy embezzling from the Carolina Panthers for his gambling. Yeah, I hate to come back gambling and all that, but that's what I got for now. Anything else you can think of? We got, like I said, the tournament's coming up. We'll have a little bit to talk about that. Baseball season opens in 2 weeks. I do want to do a Red Sox show because I want to get you bitching about everything because it's fun to listen to you complain.
We do the Red Sox show like May 1st. Like give them a month to suck.
We'll do too. We'll do a show. I want to see what your impressions are of who's who and what you think.
Who? I know who's who.
No, but what do you expect from them? You know, what do you expect? What do you expect? Hey, Boyles got his other guy Snell signed.
You know what I'm expecting by May 1st? Brian Bayo, right? Yeah, he's a righty.
Forearm.
Right elbow soreness.
Forearm soreness. Forearm's worse than elbow.
Okay, yeah.
And update the Wilmington High School baseball team. First 3 days of practice. Pitching's looking pretty good. Hopefully we hit. Goals to make the tournament. We'll keep you updated every week on that as we go forward. I got the JV team, so I don't see the varsity play, so I'll get secondhand knowledge on that. But that's really all we got. It's good to be back in Massachusetts. Nice, cold, snowy, rainy weather from Florida, where it's nice and warm for all that. But I don't think I get anything else for you, Jack. There was something you said about the Olympics. Did you send us a note about what?
They're doing like a NFL Red Zone, but for the Olympics, which actually is a good idea.
That's an awesome idea.
I know.
You just go right to the big highlights, which I
guess.
Wouldn't you? No, you can't. You know why because it's in Europe this year, so it's 5 years ahead. 5 years, 5 hours ahead. So anything that happens at 7 o'clock in the morning, you're gonna be asleep for. So hopefully they do it all through those times that maybe you want to wake up and watch an event, especially like girls gymnastics.
Yeah, but still, all the big finals are gonna be at like 4 o'clock.
Right.
If you think it's not, they'll do them at 9 o'clock at night and they'll make sure it's like.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me just check.
I guarantee the 100-meter dash is ran after 4 p.m. here. The final.
Yeah, well, definitely. Always going to be. So that's really all I got, Jack, for episode 31 of It All Boils Down to This. Anything else?
Anthony Edwards has had like 2 ridiculous. He had one last night. He's had like 2 insane dunks since we did our last podcast. I said Jaylen Brown was the best in-game dunker ever. His buddy from Atlanta there is better than him. He's the best in-game dunker ever. Yeah.
You get a chance to see the Timberwolves play, get them on TV, get them watched. There's not going to be much action. They'll be in the tournament. They'll be in the playoff tournament. So that's good. Like I said, tournament action started last night. The big time starts tomorrow, Thursday. We'll be back next week. Hopefully have some more that action on Monday or Tuesday. We'll be on the air. So for Jack Boyle, I'm Jim Boyle. And for It All Boils Down to This, episode 31, we'll see you on down the road. Thanks for listening to this episode of It All Boils Down to This, recorded at WCTV studios in our hometown of Wilmington, Massachusetts. We are always open to any ideas, critiques, topics, and guests. So if anyone out there in podcast world needs to get a hold of us, we can be reached via email at jboyle22@comcast.net. Along with Jack Boyle, I'm Jim Boyle. Make sure to tune in to the next edition of It All Boils Down to This.